Hey, how's it going? I pulled some cards and it's not really a query. I didn't have a question. Oh, hold on a minute. I did not. Hi, I didn't even look and see, do I look crazy first before I started? The answer is yes. Let me fix myself to the best I can. Hold on a second here. Oh yeah, everything's better now. Okay, first, please look at my signs. Get my head out of the way. Okay. Try not to knock this. Oh, see? That's what I was trying not to do. I knew I should not have picked this thing up. Okay, are you going to sit there? Just let me get that out of frame. There we go. Okay, so yes, I pulled some cards, and the query, as such as it was, is, it's not a query. But what I wanted to get a feel for was, I talked about recently, making the intention to just, jump to a new timeline, which we completely have the power to do. And so, what I'm going to talk about here kind of touches upon that even, but that's not what it was really meant to be about. What it is meant to be about is kind of seeing situations that are, appear one way, but, and in a way that maybe we don't really care for, make us uncomfortable in some way. We have a lot of those to choose from, at least in the United States. I can't really speak to other places except maybe Canada and Mexico, because I know we're causing them some problems with our current presidential administration and their plan of action, I guess. What I wanted to say was whatever they're doing, so we can also go with that. All right, you're just gonna please stay. All right, so from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, I pulled 5 cards, and I didn't look at them. They didn't come out face up, which I took to mean don't look at them yet. And I did write something too, as well, is what I mean. So I'm going to just quickly read through that, kind of. It's more cohesive than what I've been trying to say here, so let me do that. It's short, don't worry. Meeting life where it is. Taking the bull by the horns, or taking control of what comes. Why did I put an apostrophe there? I'm learning bad habits from the internet. Taking what comes and making the best of it. I have felt like life is a movie lately. Editing on the fly as usual. I felt like life is a movie lately. What with art imitating life and life imitating art, no one so much stranger than the other, especially if you're being taken out of control. The currents of life, full of flotsam and debris. Debris. Oh my God. To be fearful of coming at you. And when I say you, I mean me. That is making the world you live in hostile. The things coming at you. You could feel that way. You could definitely get that feeling. That the world is... the world is hostile. You could feel that way. Something that happens to you. You can feel that the things that happen to you in the world are hostile. That was all terribly ordered. Okay, moving on. There is a path of resistance, or that is a path of resistance. I'm making a mess of this. Defining the world you live in as hostile is making yourself a path of resistance. There. A life harder than it needs to be. There's another way to go. With the flow. To accept things that come our way as not things to defend against that are coming at you like they're coming for you. The perspective can be flipped, a la the Hangman Tarot card, which speaks to its... Oh, I should have pulled it out because I knew I was going to talk about it. But I don't have to find the card. Where's that little book? Oh my goodness, what am I stepping on? I actually think I know, but I'm getting to that. I have bare feet, so... and that'll all make sense in a minute. So what am I looking for? Oh yes, the Hangman. So I can show you. Nope. Nope. You can tell I don't have the numbers memorized. Nope. A lot of H's in these Grand Arcanas. There we go. So, this is the Hangman card. And what it says about... Whoa! Don't try to jump out of my hand. What it says about the card is, the Hangman is hanging upside down from a live tree. Live tree. Foliage. Could be a tree of life reference. Gaining a different perspective of the world. He is not suffering, but is rather calm and observant. The Hangman indicates the need to pause, to look around and be willing to surrender to new ideas. So, let me pick up where I left off. Oh, wait, is that even the right place? It was not. There's a way... Okay, so the last sentence I read was the perspective can be flipped, a la the Hanged Man tarot card. So we did that demonstration part. There's a way to do that with life when it feels like it's coming for you. Therein lies the key. Events can and actually are coming for you, but they're coming for you. They're not coming for you. There's a difference. And, you know, you can easily flip your perspective. Where did it go? So, events can and actually are coming for us, but not in an adversarial way. In a way that is meant to inform us to meet challenges and opportunities along the way. Because either way, we get something of value from them, the experiences. Even the things that feel and are awful and change life in what may feel like is in no way helpful. They are that until our perspective changes them as a result. That didn't sound good. Let me try that again. I was just saying that it can feel like things that are happening to you in life are no way helpful until you change your perspective. So they are that unhelpful, a problem, adversarial in your way, until our perspective changes them as a result. Unhelpful, but that's an opinion that can only be unhelpful, but that's an opinion that only we can meaningfully change. The good stuff's easy to process, right? And so I feel like we just take those experiences and examine them. Oh, sorry. More editing. So I feel like if we just take those experiences and examine them minutely the same way we do the same way we would a negative one. Okay, I think I messed up there. But yeah, like, when we have a good experience, it's like, yeah, we take it in, woohoo, it's happy, but don't we say all the time that, like, we don't remember the good experiences, like the bad ones hang with us more so? Okay, so we start off maybe looking for one good thing out of a bad experience to justify having gone through it. When time passes is when we begin to be able to see that there's plenty of value to be mined from so-called bad experiences. It stands to reason there's more to be found beyond a happy, shiny experience. After giving the matter some thought, I found myself examining below the surface for the reasons like we say the good memories we don't remember as quickly as the bad, traumatizing ones. But is it really true? Are we that shallow? Is it not as worthy a find to discover what is at the bottom of what makes a happy experience joyful? Wouldn't it be great if all experiences, good or bad, I'm turning my whole body, all I have to do is turn the notebook. All experiences, good or bad, hold value. That gets me a lot closer to finding the experiences of life more fun. And I say that about it being fun or not, or being a good or bad experience, because, don't forget, we are here doing multiple things. Like, we got our human life with the rat race and the day in, day out routine and all of that stuff, but there's other layers to us and to life. And so once you get into this metaphysical business, you're likely to hear that the whole life is, you're here because it's like an experience that you wanted to have. And they, like the Arcturians specifically, like, this is fun. I actually linked a couple of videos that I feel like pertain to what I've been saying. They're short. And in one, the Arcturians that are channeled by this guy that you'll see in the video, they actually say these experiences are supposed to be fun. But when you're going through, like, I don't know, maybe you're like a Venezuelan of nationality that just got scooped up by America, by the United States, and sent to El Salvador, accused of being a gangster, drug criminal, something or other, and really what you are is like a mother that worked in food service and your baby. And it's not true, and it's awful, but those things are happening for a reason. Like, there's all of these, like, plot lines to life and subplots, and it's all there for us to experience and to mine meaning and value from. And I say this a lot, and I know it's easier said than done, especially since I've only experienced one part of this theory of mine, but we know what we're going to do before we actually get here and are born. So, like, there's that whole layer, like the other side of the veil stuff. But we literally, like, signed up for this shit, like, to be here and do all of the things. A willingness to come here and experience what is, like, happening in this country, the United States, with, like, the immigrants that got flown out and not even sent back to their country of origin, if that's even true. They got sent to a place that is known for its cruelty, and they had a problem with crime in El Salvador, which is where these people got sent. And the way they cleaned it up was to brutally come down on the whole population, I guess, and just anybody who even looked in someone's mind like a criminal ended up at these places, and they're not nice places. This is not a resort. This is not Club Fed. This is not even Rikers Island. I mean, it is there to be horrible and to punish you and to give you the worst experience ever. But we got a president sending people there that don't deserve that, and so that's not putting good boy points in his column. So, yeah. Taking like things as they come in life. The one that I guess we're like the most conscious of is to take things as they come and, you know, not let them like topple your whole being because they didn't quite go the way you planned. I have an example. See this? This is garlic cloves, and see this? I am just a person. The other occupant of my house is a cat. He don't eat these. But the reason why I have them this way, well, there's a number of reasons why. First of all, I get help with this from the state, and they send someone to help take me on my errands because I'm in a wheelchair and I have like physical challenges and I need help with things and some housekeeping stuff around here. And I had a new one. And so I've kind of been having issues with this particular agency. They always manage to not have someone available to help me on the day that I need them the most, which is the shopping day. And just because of the way my finances are set up, I can get through the month if I don't get out on the shopping day that I call shopping day. But it messes me up for the whole month. My money doesn't go right because it doesn't go where I need it to go when I need it to go there, and it just messes up my whole budget. And so it's been a problem, and they keep like giving me rotating people, and sometimes I will turn someone away, like they'll come and it just won't work out for whatever reason. And I think that's understandable on everybody's end because I need help. I know there's a stranger coming here, and there's a stranger coming to your house, so you have to be able to kind of, you know, in some way deal with this person, this stranger come into your house. And if you feel disrespected because they broke something or lost something, then you're justified. But I try not to be that person that's all, I want to see the manager and send back my plate, because I know that they're shorthanded. There's not a lot of people out there that even want to do that kind of work where you're going to go in and deal with people that need help for whatever reason, because I'll just say superficially right off the top, most people don't want to help anybody for any reason. They don't care so much that you're having a hard time. Everybody's kind of, I shouldn't say everybody, so I won't. A lot of people are just really more focused on themselves, and for some reason it's becoming like cool to not have empathy. But if you want people to call you asshole, go right ahead, because that's what you're headed for, in my opinion. So, I sent this person out for me to go to the store, and I gave her a list, and we had a pretty detailed conversation, and she was new. So, I kind of am getting ahead of myself. I started to say that the agency that I was using is shorthanded on office staff, administrative staff, and also the actual caregivers going out to work with the clients, and who have, like I said, there's a spectrum of needs. Like, I don't need as much help, and I don't need as much of people like observing me like as if I'm like I'm not hooked up to machines. I don't need help with a lot of things, you know. So, and then there's people that are completely bedridden that are like you gotta like roll them over and change them because they're completely paralyzed. So there's a spectrum, right? And also because like I need human contact because I'm in a place where I didn't grow up, so I don't have that safety net of people I've known all my life, sort of thing, friends from school, whatever, and that's okay, like most of the time. But I do need human contact, and yeah, there's people here in this apartment complex where I live, but only a few are friendly. I'll put it that way. And so I keep to myself and also find, but anyway, so I sent this woman out and she was not prepared. They didn't tell her what she was going to be coming in to go, like what she was going to be having to deal with. So I'm saying I was easy, like an easy first person to have to deal with. So like I said, I made a list. I made sure to write stuff down. We talked about it. She actually made her own list. So I sent her to the store. And I'm sorry, it was Walmart. There's Walmart, Safeway, and some local stores that are... The local stores are for some reason like 3 times more expensive than the other 2 that I mentioned. I know they're just trying to stay alive, but like, bro, like I can't even go there. Even if I want something at that store that's not at the other 2 places, I'm not going to go there because it's 3 times as much. And like, that don't fit in my budget. Sorry. So yeah, I sent her to Walmart. And what I sent her to Walmart for was, among other things, garlic. And they come in a net tube of 3 heads. And I put on the list and told her, I said, I want 2 of those. So, times being the way they are now, with like hardly anybody out in the fields harvesting things, there was none. Except for a bag that was 1.5 pounds. 2 net bags is 6 heads. That much I can go through in a month. Probably not finish it even. And so clearly 1.5 pounds is way too much. And at first I was upset with her about that. I didn't end up keeping this woman. I'm not going to go through all of the issues, but she actually damaged something, a piece of my furniture, and it was like, oh my gosh, you have to go. And I just, when I was in the bathroom earlier today showering, I noticed that also this is not her fault. There is a chronic leak here that they're just not going to fix. And she mopped, and for some reason she chose the mop that you can't strain the water out of very well, because I have 2. And so now, it's been like 5 days since she was here. And I just discovered there's still water on my floor from when she was mopping up from the leak in the ceiling. And it's been raining, and I fell asleep and didn't put the bucket under the leak. It's a whole thing. So, like I said, there were a number of reasons I did not ask for her to come back. But, I'm like, it was her first day. She didn't know, like, there was a lot of reasons why I was not going to just go off on this woman. And so I was really, like, mad at first. Like, lady, I'm 1 person. What the hell do you think I'm doing with all the garlic? But I didn't. And then later, after I calmed down from the other stuff I discovered, I was like, you know what, though? Like Linda G, the Comanche psychic, for one, has been warning of food shortages to come. But you don't need a psychic to tell you, if there's nobody out in the fields harvesting, there's going to be shortages. So she's been saying stock up on things. you have to have figured out, like, if systems are not functioning, like, to provide groceries to be on the shelves in the store, you better, like, stock up. And I feel bad that it is like such a hoarding thing with people. I mean, I feel bad for the people that get to the store and there is nothing on the shelves, which has been happening off and on since COVID. Like, you know, Walmart can't keep stuff on the shelves because it's just a zoo in there almost all of the time. Like, it was so nice after the holidays ended, you could go in and it was not like Tetris in there. You could move around. Like, even if all of the stocking people, STOCKING, like putting stock on the shelves, they have these big dumb blue mobile desk things or whatever that take up a lot of space, like in the aisles. So, you know, you got people in there with carts, and then you got these things that are the size of like half a dumpster, and then another person like along with. It's just a mess. And so once the holidays ended, I went there and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no one here. This is awesome. And then Trump was elected, and then the stores were packed again, and everybody's hoarding crazy and grabbing everything. Rant concluded. Sorry about that. But again, all of the garlic, and I thought, what the heck am I going to do with all of that? This is what, there's 5 heads that I gave to the neighbor that I'm friendly with. That would have filled this jar. This is going to last me a while. But it turned out not to be a bad thing, you know? And so the other not bad thing that I got out of an experience that had, you know, nothing was irreparable, so I even hesitate to call it bad, but I have just reached a point of fatigue with the people at that place, and as part of my new timeline, I'm just doing that. Like, I was nice, and I was accepting, and I met a lot of different people and had a lot of different, mostly enjoyable experiences, and even the ones that were, like, not all great were not all bad. I mean, that's the thing about, like, being in resistance and then, like, running into stuff as you're, like, allowing yourself to be tossed around by the flow, and then running into obstacles that become problems in your life, or avoiding them, you know, finding ways around them, or finding ways to accept them and then make the best of them. This is gonna make for, like, I'm gonna get garlic oil out of it. That makes me very happy. You can see I eat, but I like to cook. So I just made myself, like, cooking is like a meditation for me. It gets my ears ringing, it gets me concentrating, it makes me very creative, and I've done it for a living. I'm good at it. So it's all around a good experience, right? So I just wanted to use the garlic as in a prop, I guess. Okay, so here's the cards that I pulled. How am I doing on time? Here, not bad. So this is number 54, The Crossing. You know, like I said, sorry. The subtitle on this card is Initiation. Generally, initiation means you've gone through, like, a process, and then you've learned what there was to be learned from the experience. And now you're initiated into this new state of being that is informed by all of the experiences you've had and how you have chosen to experience them. And so it makes me all happy. The bridge itself, the crossing, which is what this card is called, the title of this card, generally it's imagery, and the words kind of indicate that you're going from here to there, like you've made a crossing from one place to the other, one state of being to the other. There's something I noticed not that long ago on here after having these cards for years was there's a circle here, and I thought, gee, that sure looks like a portal, or my idea of a portal. So not only have you gone from here to there and become an initiate in some new experience, you have jumped a timeline. You have changed everything by changing the way you're experiencing everything. Okay, so the next card is number 42, Netcaster. And the subtitle is Preparations Come to Fruition. Wow, I just feel like it's like the story of the garlic. So the Netcaster here, I'm gonna say that like that's me experiencing life, and you can see sort of that she's got a net, and it's a very gossamer, sparkly thing. Like, I don't know what she's gonna be catching with that net. Let's call it experiences. And so the subtitle on this card is Preparations Come to Fruition. Well, you never know what you're gonna get, right? You never know if you're a caregiver who they're gonna send you to, and if you're the recipient of the caregiver, you don't necessarily know what you're gonna get either. So you're both kind of like accepting, what is about to commence ahead of you. I would assume that the other person is also hoping for the best they can be expected, because if you're fishing by net casting, I would think particularly these days you might come back with more shoes and Mountain Dew bottles, empty Mountain Dew bottles, than you might fish, and even that, you are faced with a choice. Are you going to be disappointed and lose your mind, or are you going to be disappointed and find something in the stuff that you have caught in your net, find that in some way useful, helpful to you? Because really, until you are in a state of acceptance that things are going to come the way they come, and it's up to you to choose how to view the experience, live the experience, and that is why we're here. This is what we signed up for. So, my gosh, we think escape rooms are fun because we know we're going to get out of it. The same applies with life. Make it an escape room or a paintball game or whatever risky fun you would like to have. Your whole life is that, you can let it be that life just comes along and knocks you around, and it's just random and you're hopeless and you can't do anything and you have no control. Or you can enact your own power, right? Because you have that. One of the, I think, most misunderstood messages of Jesus was that we are made of God's image, and take image all of the steps further to form. And so here we are, bits of God, and how much godlike stuff are we doing? Well, anything we do is really, if you're going to look at it at that wide of a perspective. But most of us are not looking at it any kind of way like that. And so I pity the fool. I pity the fool that hasn't caught on yet, because I have to admit, I can't say that like, ooh, everything's all fun. Like, I still get like triggered and disappointed and upset, but I'm learning to appreciate all of that so that things are less disappointing and upsetting. I mean, we can create our own world. We have the power to jump timelines. We can change our minds. We can behave differently. Like, really, like, changing our mind is so powerful. Okay, next card is number 28, Hollow Bone. There's a bone, a flute there, fashioned from a bone that would have had to be hollowed out to work as a flute, if you know how those work. I'll go real simple. Do you know what a piccolo is? Do you know what is that one they send kids at school home with? The little silver one. I don't know. Oh, or there's a recorder. You might know what that is. That's a school thing they would give you. Oh, wait. I don't think they do that anymore. That's right. They being the government, removed a bunch of those programs because art, music, and exercise, those are all terrible for children. Everyone knows that. Anyway, I digress. So, what this card says to me is respect for tradition and ceremony, and how, especially in indigenous traditions, the further back, the more this will be true, and the further back in time is what I mean. Times where the Europeans who came here, the colonizers, would have looked on these people and thought primitive savages, which they absolutely did. There's plenty of documentation. But what they didn't see was these people took life as it came, and they both fed it and respected it and gave back to it in a way by not disrespecting the buffalo, for instance. And they would use the hide, the hoof, the meat, every bit of the animal so that it wasn't wasted. And they were thankful to the animal and thankful to our Creator for placing this bounty of necessities fulfilled just right in their path. And that was the life that those people lived until the colonizers came along and told them they were doing it all wrong, and they didn't understand anything. And they, you know, some of us know history, but hey, look at I don't know. I don't want to get into it. It's too involved. But I will say that there's a respect for those things that come along in life. And they really took them for better or worse, because you're not guaranteed to like just walk up to a buffalo and knock it out and get what you need from it. They hang out in a herd. They might not take kindly to you trying to kill their brethren to make a blanket out of them and chow down on them. There was a lot going on. But when the indigenous did go to hunt, and when they actually were successful in their hunts, there was always a gratitude made evident to both spirit and the animal itself. Like, they had a prayer thing that they would do, and it all worked for them. It was like it was the way. It was all the way. The way, like, things. Boy, I wish they kind of still were that way. And I know I would miss my TV and my toilet and all of that stuff, but people's heads were just in such a better place. So the subtitle on this card is Teachability. And that's interesting because in times now that we're having in many indigenous cultures, there are legends, myths, stories of the time that is happening right now that were foreseen by the shaman, the medicine people, where society would collapse, the colonizer society that they built all over the nature and the indigenous people and the way of life that they were living that was correct and good with Gaia. And them, really, too. Those people, the people, when society starts to collapse and everything topples, the people with the helpful knowledge, the information that we need, are going to be the indigenous. There are many legends of this. Listen, you're going to see. So, okay, the next card is number 62, Will-o'-the-Wisp. And here it is. There's like a lot going on. It's like an explosion of sort of spirit entities popping out of this guy. And it's interesting. Like, yes, there's a face there. And they seem to have, like, almost like they get the Valkyrie opera headgear. But it's not, obviously it's not that. Well, I don't know if it's obvious. It's obvious to me. This is like very much water related, like the colors of it, like it's underwater. And also, there is water, like there's a fountain there. Pretty sure that's a fountain spewing some water out. Water, generally in tarot, is related to emotion. Will-o'-the-Wisp. Wisp is a form of precipitation that is close to mist, I would say. But what it does is it hangs in the air and moves about in the air, and it creates all these different looks. Like, I saw something recently on YouTube and I knew it was something good and I didn't save it. Kind of got to stop doing that. But what it was is a very short, and maybe it was on Blue Sky. I'm going to see if I can find it so I can put it on my YouTube page. But all it was a title that said "The Face in Different Light." I may be paraphrasing that. I don't remember, I guess, exactly, but that was more or less what it said. And it had a model, a woman sitting there, and she wasn't doing anything really. Like, she wasn't really emoting very much. She just kind of like sitting there, and it was like, I believe it was slowed down or sped up. I don't know, something, but there's no sound. Maybe there's music, but she doesn't say anything. And all it is the light from all these different directions hitting her. And I believe it was something to do with film. And so it's interesting that film can, just like the wisp in the air currents moving around, can look like different shapes and faces and wings and flying, I don't even know what, plasmoids, but just all of these sort of changing it by every moment just due to the light alone in a film can convey so much emotion, along with all of the other elements like the music and obviously the words in the script, the dialogue, monologue, whatever it is, the people talking. Oh my goodness, ow. And that's such a film thing, too, because it is, as Quentin Tarantino says, it's not like fluid motion. It's a series of still photographs animated. And light is that way as well. Like, in reality, all you gotta do is change the angle of yourself or the light, and like the whole mood changes, the whole message changes. So, the subtitle on this card is Treasure Hidden in the Shadows and the Light, apparently. And the final card is the number 25, Garden of Venus. The subtitle on this card is Rest and Renewal. And I will just say that before you get to a point of acceptance and or changing your perspective about how you're meeting life when it comes for you, You know, I think it's just good to keep in mind that it's not really coming at you to get you as an adversary. You're going to feel stuff, and that's good. That's like part of the deal. That's what you want. And feel it like all the way, you know. But you know, don't make it your life. Like, there's other experiences in the queue waiting to happen. So, appreciation, acceptance, making the best of it. Things are crappy. Change your perspective. So much good is going to come out of that going forward. And I think that we can apply that in many ways to just our general life. Thank you and good night.